Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Marissa Explains It All. Guess what time it is, guys? I love fall. Fall is my favorite season. It is full of my favorite stuff. I just love like the crisp autumn air at night. I love like walking through it. I love all the leaves falling. I love the warm flavors and of course pumpkin spice, obviously. So I know fall has been out for a while. You're like, Marissa, fall started like, a month ago. Yeah, I know. However, I live in a place where it's still warm and it was still like 70, 80 degrees outside. And so it's just recently starting to cool off a little bit. I know some places out in the west like Colorado are already getting snow, and places up north in Maine are like chilly. Awesome, okay, but where I live, it is just starting to get cold. So in the mornings it's chilly and in the afternoons it's like warm again, but we're finally at that point where it's starting to dip down like a little bit below 70 and we're like in the 60s now. And so I have held off on doing this fall look until I felt like, it was not hot anymore. It still felt like it was summertime to me. So I really wanted to wait until it felt like fall to start doing my fall decorating and my fall makeup and fall colors. And if you've seen my last video, I did already do my fall peekaboo strip here. And now I wanted to go ahead and break out all of the fall makeup because I love the jewel tones and just the gorgeous hues that fall brings. So, and also drinking for the first time this season, my first pumpkin spice latte. There it is, PSL. I love these and I haven't had one in like 365 days. So, and I am taking the first ceremonial sip. Da 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 da. Yeah, so here it goes. Yes, that is delightful. That tastes like fall. Again, I'm doing this fall look today, so if you want to come along the ride with me and my pumpkin spice latte, then stay tuned and I'll be right back. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna put these little wispies away so they don't get in my way. So first things first, I am going to go ahead and prime with one of my favorites, and this is the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do a couple pumps of that on my skin and prime away. This kind of helps fill in some of the cracks and the pores and all those little nice fine lines and large pores that some of us have, not many names. Now that that's primed and kind of in there and just set in for a minute, I will use my Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. This is one of my favorites to kind of pre-conceal some of the acne and redness. I am going to do a video at some point about my acne, but we're not there yet. So I just kind of help pre-conceal a little bit some of the darker spots, the redness and all the little areas that none of us like and we all sort of have. Okay, that's hidden some of the redness, so I'm gonna go ahead now and do my foundation. And I'm just using my favorite today, my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Matte, Soft Matte, in the shade 150. And I've got my little beauty blender and its little egg holder, which I think is so cute. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to, I forgot my little palette today, actually. So I'm just gonna do the back of my hands. I did wash my hands with soap and my beauty blender is clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dip in here and start pressing in and applying that. And I am going to pick up my mirror again because it is pretty helpful to use this instead of the viewfinder. Now that we've got it all down here, whew, sounds funny. Got it in my earrings. Now that we've got it everywhere pretty much, it's time to go ahead and use my concealer for under the eye. And I do still love the Tarte Shape Tape. I mean, it's something that I use almost every day and I love it. And I just go ahead and, wipe a bunch of it off because it comes out so thick on this doe foot applicator. I don't know why, but it really does. And because I'm doing more of a dramatic look today, I will go in a little heavier with my concealer just under the eye and more down more than I would normally. So I am gonna do that just a little bit more, get down there more, and make the triangle of light, which is what they call this apparently. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. It was coined by some beauty guru. And so do a little bit up there. That is not helpful if I block the camera. Down there. And then my little sort of tribal makeup here. And then blend all of that out just to brighten up the center of the face. And this is a key part of contouring, as you all know. And now we certainly need to contour because I am done highlighting. I'm very white now, as if I wasn't white before. So I'm super white now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with my Anastasia Beverly Hills. And so this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Cream Kit. And so it's got a few shades in here, and I tend to use the lighter ones, and this is, of course, needs to be cleaned, it looks like. But I am just going to use a Sephora brush that I bought. Actually, it's like a foundation brush. It doesn't really have a number on it. It just says Sephora foundation brush, so it looks like that. And it's cute, and I like it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and contour some of my face with this. And I'm just gonna use the lighter color. This is called Light Sculpt. I'm just gonna kind of go in here with my brush and start sort of just carving out a little cheekbone for myself. And I'll even use the flat portion here to sort of just get a nice thick line. I'm really just wanting to like contour this whole area. And so I will do that. Just gonna do a little bit more here on the other side. And I'm just placing it. I'm not really gonna blend it out quite yet. I'm just really placing it and just kind of defining where I would want a cheekbone to be or where I want some kind of contour to be. And so I usually go from like the middle of the ear at a nice little angle here. Use the fish face if it helps you. I'm not opposed to the fish face. And then I will also do the outer edges of my face to kind of darken just the, you know, larger forehead. If you've got like a larger forehead, you can do that. And any place that you want to really minimize, I sort of just will highlight, and I don't go too heavy. I don't tend to go very heavy on this portion. I don't really like a very heavily contoured makeup look, but I do certainly minimize a little bit of the forehead, not too much. The sides here, certainly the cheeks more so, a little bit heavier on the cheeks area. And then I will do the last but not least is the nose. And so I use the same brush. I just use the little, you know, the flat portion of the brush, and I'll kind of just dip in and tip down. And I'm trying to see if y'all can see that, and just kind of get the sides of the nose and just brush a straight line. This is for those who maybe don't have, who have like a thick nose, a wide nose, like myself, a little bit at the tip. Or if you have a crooked nose and you really need to draw that line straight, a lot of people will do that too. So I'm just kind of tipping down, grabbing a straight line, and then if you don't like this part of your nose, you can kind of, you know, kind of erase that too. So anywhere that you don't really like to, you want to sort of, you know, minimize and bring away. And then sometimes I'll use my beauty blender, and then sometimes I will use a flat top kabuki brush. And so I'm using the soft bristled kind of flat top brush today, just to kind of buff it out a little bit and without diluting the makeup too much. So sometimes the beauty blender, if it's still a little bit damp, it kind of tends to like not blend as well. And so I kind of like this to do the job of just kind of blending in. And it helps if you kind of have like two hands to kind of hold up any hair and get it back in. I probably should have worn a little headband, but that's okay. And so just kind of do that, go around and buff it out. And then if you've got areas, sometimes like my acne will, you know, come uncovered, we'll have to kind of cover those back up. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start setting everything. My Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder looks like that. And I will sometimes use the beauty blender. If I'm gonna be baking, I will do that. And so I'll just do a little bit of that today. I'm not gonna bake too heavily, but I will sort of tip out into the container and brush along here. I'm not baking baking like officially, but I am going heavy on the powder and we will wipe the excess away. So this just sets the under eye and allows the powder to really get in there. And yeah, helps when you're doing like a full coverage look. And then I will also do the middle of my nose and the forehead. Anywhere that I have highlighted, I'm going to set with this Hourglass Mineral Veil Foundation, just a little bit heavier than I normally would. Like a faux baking, if you will. Like an easy bake. A fake and bake, if you will. I'm going to let that sit for a couple minutes while I do the rest of the powder. And for the rest of it, since I do still have some spots here and I'm trying to go for a fuller coverage, I will use the Kat Von D powder foundation in the shade Light 125. And so it's a nice little powder. I think I need some more. I use the flat top kabuki brush again, just to dip into here, and then I will pat it into any places where I need kind of a fuller coverage look. And it does a pretty good job. I mean, nothing really is going to take away things completely, but I've had success with it. I will also go in and do a little bit of set the bronzed areas with my bronzer. So I'm taking a NARS in the shade Laguna. It's a little tiny one. It's so small. I love it. It's so teeny. So I've got the shade Laguna and I'm just using a Morphe M523 brush. And this is just like a nice little shape for contouring, and so I'm just going to set all those areas that I already covered up with the powder foundation and contoured a little bit. It's just kind of giving it a little more color and bringing it out just a tad more. And so all the areas that I talked about where we want to minimize, you'll go ahead and do this and just buff it out. Go ahead and take a just a powder brush and brush away those areas that we were baking so that you don't end up with like really crazy caked on look. Nobody wants that. So I'm just gonna take all those areas that I was applying the powder super thick and dust them away. Okay, and now it's time for blush, and so I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio. I think for this kind of a warm look, I'm going to go with a shade called Blank. This is Blank, Pageant, and Cash. And so I think I'm gonna go with Blank. It's just like a nice warm look. And so I'm just gonna take a Morphe E4 brush, and this is like a nice little angled brush for applying blush. And and this is very pigmented, by the way, so definitely tap off the excess. And just apply it to the cheekbones. So I usually will just sweep in right on the cheekbone. So whereas we were applying the contour here in the hollows of your cheeks, you're really wanting to apply the blush up here to the cheekbone and in the apples of the cheeks too. I will often sort of blend it out with the apples of my cheeks so that it's not just a stripe. I mean, you don't want like that 80s like stripe, and those of you who lived through the 80s, you know what I'm talking about, like that pink stripe of blush. And now I am going to highlight using my favorite, which is the Becca Champagne Pop Shimmering Skin Perfector. And this is a powder that I do apply with just a little brush. I'm just going to apply this with like a small regular eye type of brush. And so I will put that right on the top of the cheekbone, anywhere that you want there to be just like a pop of color or just that like highlight, like a little kiss of color. I love this stuff. It's my favorite. And in fact, sometimes I'll smile and then put it right here where you smile so that it like really kind of shows up. So I will kind of layer this on up the cheekbone, and sometimes I'll even hit the brow bone as well, just to kind of shimmer no matter what angle you're at. You've got it up there. I do my Cupid's bow, of course, all the places that people do it. And then I will hit just the tip of my nose and maybe the bridge, depending. And then if it looks too shiny or too oily, I'll kind of, take some off or whatever. But so far, so good. And we will move on to eyes. All right, moving on to brows. So this is the point where I usually like to do my brows, and I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in a dark brown shade. And usually I'll just comb these bad boys on up here, make sure everyone's in place. And then I take the other side of the wand and I will fill in any spots that I feel like maybe just need a little extra help. Some bare spots or anywhere that I just kind of want to like shape And I don't have too many of them, but sometimes they're like, you know, right at the top there, you want a little bit more definition. And certainly the arches, I kind of have like no arch. So the rest of it looks okay though. And then I'll just flip it around and then brush through the product a little bit to make it a little bit more natural. That's always the goal, right? Oh, time out. Oh yeah, that's fall. All right, so again, not blocking the camera. Oop, went too far. Okay, so brows I think are good enough. And then I will go ahead and set my brow with using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. And so it has this little wand here, mascara type wand. And it's nice just for sealing everything in place. It just gels it all down so that you don't move. Your eyebrows kind of don't fall out of place from where you put them. Onto eyeshadow, which is the fun part. For eyeshadows, I am using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Palette collab. I love it. I think it's got so many cool colors in there, and I am loving all of them. I've mostly been dipping into some of the neutrals and some of the, you know, cranberries and burnt oranges and some of the yellow and peaches, and I just love them. I think they're awesome. So I'm going to use a mixture of these today. So usually what I'll do is I will use the shade In Light or Beam. So this is In Light and this is Beam, and I'll just pick In Light today, and that's the one that I usually use just for a neutral look on my brow, just to give it like a little pop of a shimmer color. And I will use the same shade on my inner corners just to really make those pop. And I love to highlight the inner corner of the eye. And if I have a hard time getting in there sometimes, what I will do is use a smaller brush. And so I have, this is one of the Jaclyn Hill Morphe actually collab brushes that goes with the set. And it's the Morphe JH41. It's a smaller, little tinier brush. And I can really get in there a lot easier into this section, like this, the corner of the eye. And so I'll often highlight this section here. And I think it's really pretty. I mean, you're not looking to highlight down here. It's really just this like pop of inner color, like right in there and in here, the inner corners. So it brightens everything up and it makes it look kind of pretty. So that's sort of what I start out with the base. And then I will take like a rounded, fluffier brush. And this is one by Ulta. This is one I got from Ulta. And I think I'm gonna go with one of the more neutral shades to start with. And so I like Silk Cream and MFEO. Those are the two that I use most often. And then I'm gonna probably go down here into some of the other shades, like maybe some of the burnt orange and maybe some of the cranberry. I'm gonna start out with Silk Cream and just lay a foundation here, a foundation shade in the crease. And I usually will stop when I get to the eyelid. I don't like to go down here in the eyelid. I will just kind of apply it up here and lay down just like a basic neutral color that gives it a little color, but you're not adding too much drama just yet. That comes later. As my husband says, I am full of drama, so we're gonna get there. He always calls me dramatic. It's rude. So after you've got the transition shade down, I'm just using like a windshield wiper motion and just also like a circular buffing motion just to make it really natural. I do take that all the way in to all the way out and just like a nice wide swath for that one just to get like a basic color down. Then I'm going to start using a different shade. Okay, so I'm going to start using another one of my favorite shades now, and that is this one here. Pretty, just like perfect mauve, maybe, like almost like a tiny bit of brown. And I'll just stick that in here, more alongside the inner corner. And I do like the way that that turns out, just to start deepening it just a little bit. And I'll use it on this side, of course. And then I think I'm actually going to get into a fun shade that I like, and that is a little bit more red. It's more of like a red brick, and that is a shade called Roxanne. That is this one right here, and I love this one. It is like a nice, like I said, kind of a red brick. color, and I think it's really cute. Just adds that beautiful, beautiful, like rich red. And I will start taking it a little bit into the outer corner of my lid. Using a windshield wiper motion, mostly keeping it in the outside corner, and then I'll, of course, like this little V sort of shape, or parenthesis shape. What is the less than? What is that? Like whatever that thing is, I forget what that's called. I've been out of school too long. So whatever that shape is called, use that shape and just blend it in. And if you see places that aren't blended, certainly work those. I will actually take a smaller brush. This is the Jaclyn Hill JH41, one that I brought out earlier for the inner corners. I do actually use it for the lower lash line as well. And so I'm going to take that same Roxanne shade and bring it down a little bit into the outer corner of the underneath part of my eye. So I will just take that and put the color there. It just kind of helps bring the color down a little bit and connect the shape. So you're not really stopping at the top. It's just one cohesive sort of shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and also take a lighter shade like Silk Cream or one of those just lighter shades, and then buff that right underneath it so that it's not such like a harsh, like, oh, you have red there. You know, it's like blending it into some of my skin just a little bit more. And so hopefully that will help soften it as well, because I'm not looking for something that is very stark and harsh, you know, of a color. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper shade, maybe like a deeper burgundy. And I think I'll use the one right next to Roxanne, which is called Jax, J-A-C-Z for Jax. I think that's her nickname. So it's like a little bit of a darker maroon shade. And I will just put that in the crease. And I'm looking basically to get like a gradient effect. So I started out with a lighter color, and then I put a little bit of a darker, then a little darker, and then this is the darkest that I'm wanting to go today, and just to kind of get that sort of ombre look. And I'm just putting this in the crease. I'm not really putting it anywhere else, just putting it in the crease to get like that kind of crisp look to it. And it makes sort of a gradient like ombre effect. Now the last thing I want to do is I do want to do like a little bit more of a bronzy look on the bottom here, and not something so like white and bright. And so I'm going to go ahead and go over what I did here with probably this shade, which is called Creamsicle. And it is this one, which is kind of odd to me named Creamsicle. It's like a gold bronze. It's not like what I think of when I think Creamsicle, but it should be. It's bronzed shade, like more of a bronzed shimmer. And so I will pat that in. And so for those of us that are maybe not 20 anymore and have a little eye wrinkles, I never thought eye wrinkles were a thing, like up in this area. They certainly are. It's irritating. Let me just tell you what, I'm gonna stop aging now. So anyways, those of us that don't have little eye wrinkles now have to pat this in instead of just being able to swipe it on. I mean, you certainly can swipe a little bit too, but sometimes it looks a little too chunky. And if you're wondering why, it is because it doesn't go on as smoothly anymore when you don't have smooth skin. So I always sort of just use a patting motion to pat in anything that's a shimmer on my eyelid, and that always gives me a good result. And so I think that's kind of pretty. I like how that is looking. It's not as like light and bright. It's a little bit more of that like burnt umber kind of color, that bronzy gold that I'm looking for. So this is looking like a fall look for sure. And now it is time for eyeliner. For eyeliner today, I am using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. It's one of my favorites. It works really well and I enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and just do a fairly dramatic wing on today because I'm going to put lashes on, and so I don't want there to look like I don't have anything on. So I start out with the inner corner. I'm going to do a video on this separately, but this is incredibly hard to talk and do at the same time. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the eyeliner, probably just sped up. So I don't really do any of the crazy lashes when I put on something for every day. I do have some expensive ones that are like, whoa, they're out there, and they're from Velour, and they're usually, I think, around $40. But these I get in a big multi-pack from Walmart, and they're just Kiss brand, and they're called Shy. Get them all ready to go. They have like the little adhesive on them just to hold them to the card, but of course you need eyelash glue, and I have that with me, and I'm using Strip Lash Adhesive by Lash Couture, and it's just this little bottle that comes with it. I will go ahead and just apply my lash glue to the strip, and then just kind of like a nice little paint, and we'll put it on. And these do have like a little end that is a little bit thinner and more tapered for the inner eye, and so there is a difference between which one you put on which eye, just so you know, because I've done it before where I did not know that. And so I'll give it a second here just to kind of dry it down. I have like a little pair of angled tweezers as well, which kind of helps me grab them. And so I'll grab those with one end in the inner corner, kind of try to find the middle and line it up with the middle of my eye. And we'll see how this goes on. Hold them up there and try to keep your eyes shut and not to blink. Use the little tweezers to help you put it in place and pat everything down. Not too bad. And then just hold it there while it dries a few seconds. And then I'll sort of push them up just a bit, just to make sure that they're not stuck to anything. And these feel pretty good. So that is one done, and then we will go on to the other one. Okay, so again, I will have my tweezers hold the one side, and I will hold the other side, bend them, kind of find the middle, and then I will make sure that I stick the middle onto my middle of the eyeball. So take that roughly, get it in place, and then make sure you pat down, and you do want to keep it like inside the area that you've applied your eyeliner. You kind of want it to sit right on top of your natural lashes and not too far down and not too far up. And now we have lashes. Now it's time for mascara, just to kind of make these lashes kind of commingle a little bit together with my natural lashes and just give them like a nice little boost. I am using a Lancome Monsieur, yeah, I didn't speak French, but Monsieur Big lashes mascara. And this one is one of those, again, that like has a lot of product on it. And so I like it a lot, but you have to wipe a lot of it off or you will end up with like all of the product on your lash and it looks like one big clumpy spider. And I know it's Halloween almost, but we don't want spiders on our eyes. So I always will wipe these off a lot and just have like a little bit left on. And so of course I'm just doing like a side to side sweeping motion to make sure that I coat everything, and this will help my natural lashes and the fake lashes just sort of get up in there together and have a little extra volume to them. And then I want to of course do my lower lashes as well. And then, last but not least, would be a lip. And so I'm going to go with a fall lip today. I've been really liking this Smashbox color. This is a Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick, and it's in the shade Steppin' Out. And so this is kind of a cute shade. It's more of a matte color, and I think I'm going to put a gloss over it just so you guys can see a couple different colors. But I do like this. It's got one of those triangle doe foot applicators to it, and it's neutral, but it's like a burnt, I don't know, burnt sienna type of neutral. I don't know, that's not the right color. It's like a nice fall color. It's not super bold, but it is pretty, and it just like goes really well with those rich jewel tones. And I do also love this Bare Minerals lip. I'm going to put these on just over top so you can see it. This is a Bare Minerals color, and it is called Hype, and it is showing up a little bit different on camera. It looks more pink in this camera, but it looks a little bit more orange in person. So it's more of that kind of burnt orange shade that is I'm struggling to describe on camera. And I'll stick that over top here just to get a little shine. And I like this a lot. This came from my sister-in-law, so thank you. This was a Christmas present from last year, and I absolutely love it. I do use all of them like all the time. I love Bare Minerals lip lip products. You can't really say the word lip with your lips in use. It's just like a nice shiny color. And to set everything, I am using a MAC Fix Plus. This is the Prep and Prime in Lavender, so I will do that now. And then use my cat. So dry. And this is the final look. Hopefully you guys like this look. Tell me in the comments below what you think, if you would like to see a different kind of look or different colors. And if you have this palette, if you've tried like a combination of colors that you just love, I think this is super pretty and I will probably wear it a lot this fall. So if you like this video, please hit subscribe and I will see you guys next time with my pumpkin spice latte and some more makeup videos. Bye guys. Like a nice fall shade, I think. Oh, on your teeth. We don't want it on our teeth. Burnt sienna. Oh, and then use. And this is the final look. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and take that first, like, oh, I spilled it. Ugh, don't get the powder in your eyes.